Hi everyone, my name is Zivile and I'm your host, and welcome to the Perception Paradox special episode series that will be launched every Thursday for upcoming few weeks. And these are conversations that I recorded during TechBBQ conference, which is happening in Copenhagen, gathers all the different startup ecosystem players in Copenhagen. And this year, we were over 10,000 people in a new venue. The vibe was still the same, and it was incredible to be there on the ground to connect and reconnect with people I know and with also new people. During the conference, I had a chance to record different conversations with ecosystem players, investors, founders, community members. And we are kicking off today with our first guest, Soulaima Gourani, who is a Silicon Valley CEO and VC-backed founder. And she calls energy our currency and has a really fascinating approach of training our mind like we train our body. So we will dive into the question, what if the secret to entrepreneurial success, actually it's not about working harder, it's not about working longer, but actually managing our energy smarter. And yeah, I'm very excited. We're gonna learn a bit about her blueprint for entrepreneurial mental health and why she sees a life as a dance instead of a ladder. And I really liked her approach where she says that we should turn every challenge into a project and don't call it a challenge. So yeah, let's dive in and begin the post-TechBBQ conference series. Real people, real stories, and real challenges that break the status quo. I'm your host, Zivile, and welcome to Perception Paradox. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Perception Paradox. We are up for a treat, a TechBBQ edition episode together with Soulaima. And I met with you 2 years ago during TechBBQ. I think it was speakers dinner. We were sitting close to each other. We had a beautiful connection and conversation around the wonderful round table, from motorcycles to mindset, meditation, healing, and everything we covered to business. And today it's my big honor to have you here in this very intense week in Copenhagen during TechBBQ. So welcome, Soulaima.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to be here. And you created such a nice cave here. You can't see, but it's a little away from all the noise and all the people. Not that I mind, but even in the most clinical room, you managed to create a good atmosphere. That's a skill. That's a skill. It's not about what you put on the walls, but it's the energy that is in the room.
I was feeling it and waiting for this podcast. And thank you for TechBBQ Media team for such an opportunity and support. So how was your week so far during the conference?
Well, very intense. I've mostly been giving interviews or moderating or speaking or being at dinners. So a little intense, to be honest. I haven't slept since yesterday.
You look good.
Okay, yeah, but luckily I have a good muscle. I've done Davos, the World Economic Forum Davos, I think for 10 years. And I just know how to leave my hotel room at 5 a.m. and not return until 2 a.m. and have the same clothing on. You just learn how to cope with very packed programs. I guess that's like being a prime minister or whatever. You just learn that. You have to learn it. It's a skill. Dress for the whole day and just go with it. When I was younger, I had a tendency to be more overwhelmed. When I was young and just starting my career, and I had what I didn't know at that time in the 90s, late 90s, my first anxiety attack. I was running a big workshop in my first tech job, and I was on the phone with my mom, and I didn't know what was happening, and I thought I was dying. But it was just an anxiety attack, but I didn't know.
Wow.
But here's the thing. I hadn't slept enough. I had too much coffee. I was jet lagged. There was a lot of factors that I did not know. Look, when you're young, unless you are born into a family that has done business, have all those secrets, how to beat jet lag or how to handle toxic work environments, you know the whole book, the whole playbook. This is ChatGPT and stuff. You had to figure things out yourself. Maybe you could search on the internet of stuff, but this was not available to me. So you have to learn from your failures, basically. Anyway, fast forward. Today, I know much more about how to have a high productivity for years and years in a row with no break.
That's so interesting.
Growing up now, I have 2 kids, and you have access to filters, and you can edit, and you can cut, and you can redo. You can, to some extent, do the same with your life, but I don't think life should be perfect. I'm not striving for that. I'm more looking into how my life can be interesting.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. I'm not looking for perfection. Also, when is a person beautiful? It's not the perfect looking person. It's the interesting looking person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we look for the wrong things in life. And also, I'm not avoiding hard stuff. I'm not necessarily looking for it either, but every morning I get up, I honestly try to think. I have 2 startups, so that's a lot, to be honest. But I know today I'll probably be struggling with 4 or 5 projects. I refuse to use the word problems. It's a project, You might have many projects going on at the same time. It's just a different mindset. Instead of saying I have 5 big problems that I'm solving, if it's a project, it's just a different mindset, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wake up in the morning and I say to myself, whatever comes my way is for my own best. This will all work out. Even if it doesn't work out, it's the best thing that can happen. That means that I'm not attached to the outcome, but I'm just leaning in and I'm going through the process, whatever happens, with no exception. That's an acceptance of life that I have come to realize is the best way for me to navigate my life. And I have stopped a long time ago to judge anything good or bad. So, sometimes we judge we quickly run to the conclusion that this is a bad situation. Or this was not as expected, so it's bad or it's good. You don't know. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks or 2 years before you actually can tell if this was bad or good. Think of the boyfriend who broke up with you. Oh, thank God he did, right? Or whatever. Because otherwise you wouldn't have been here or there or whatever. So I don't look at situations as good or bad. And I'm practicing to not react when I'm in situations.
That's great.
Just witnessing.
Yeah. That's a very crucial skill to have, with the witnessing and not reacting when we don't have any way and how to change a situation. It's not on our control. It just happens. So why would you waste the energy if you can do something good with that?
Energy is your currency, right?
Yeah.
I think Taylor recently gave an interview about that. But I've always thought that energy is the most precious currency you have. Your energy and your focus, your attention, if you like. So you have to be careful about who you give it to or what you give it to. And I've always been thinking that if a situation, I'm not saying you cannot always go for things that feels right or great, because there's a lot of learning of going through things, or let things go through you that is hard and uncomfortable. So don't avoid it necessarily. But I honestly think that if you can, see if you can spend most of your time in situations where something gives you something back, energy-wise, good energy, good people, good flow, and so forth, but without being too comfortable. Because if you only stay within your comfort zone, it feels great, but it's not good for you in the long run. So you really have to balance between those two. And they don't contradict each other necessarily, but you just have to be aware of that.
When you're sharing that, it sounds so easy, and that it's so like, yeah, you're just flowing. So I would like to go back a bit what you already touched base, which is very impressive. Since we're in the conference, and the conference agenda can be super overwhelming, and especially if you are very new to such environment.
Of course.
Learning how to navigate lots of people, lots of noise, especially if you're more sensitive.
And more
individual.
people are sensitive and introverted than you actually would think.
Yeah, exactly. So it just becomes like, for me, like with loud environments, I need to sometimes, if I'm tired, it overstimulates me. So I need to, for example, put something in my ears. Or
of course.
I started doing that because I learned that's my filter from external distractions that does not lead me to a good place. But usually, when I share with my friends, how does my agenda look like in the conference to kind of a bit justify why I'm not accessible during the week of the event, everyone's like, but how do you do that? You wake up at 5, 6, then you leave home in the morning, exactly what you mentioned, and then you come back at night with no change, no proper break. I'm like, well, yeah, that because kind of you have an intention why you go to that event, you have a program, and then you decide where do you want to show up. And if that makes sense, I show up and try to navigate through and call it a quit when I don't have what to give anymore.
Yes.
So my question to you would be, what are your tools to keep your energy more consistent and to be able to keep the focus and to remember? Because what happens, we can be active listeners, but a lot of in nowadays society, it's hard to focus, to keep attention, and to remember, because we tend to outsource the memory.
We have a digital Alzheimer's pandemic, right? Because we use tech to remember things for us, find our way. I mean, thank God we have GPS, but that also gave us a disadvantage, right? I can really honestly don't find my way through anything anymore, right? I need GPS for everything. It didn't used to be like that, right? So I'm aware that I'm trading the benefit of the technology, but I'm giving away something also. But then I acquire new skills. But it's a balance. It's worth thinking about. Well, I'm going to say something that's very controversial when it comes to the conference. So I used to be very strategic, meaning I would print the participant list.
Wow.
Yeah, like I would be like, this is a sport, right? Print it, set up meetings, do one-on-one, like just run this as if it was Olympic Games, right? Like really strategic networking. I'm very good at networking strategically. That helped me take my life, that I'm from very humble beginnings. Actually, that's a whole different story, but that was a very necessary skill. And I've been training a lot of people in strategic networking for years and years. I've written even a book or 2 books on it. Anyway, but today I do things very differently. And that has very much to do about how I view life. I think somewhere mid-30s, I think my perspective changed a little. And again, I work and travel across 50 countries, more or less. And I've lived in 5 countries now. I'm living in the US now, and I've done that for 10 years. But back to how I navigate a conference like TechBBQ, which is, by the way, amazing.
It's great.
Crazy good. Well done, Team Barbecue. It's one of the conferences that I enjoy the most. But I don't download the app. Controversy 1. I don't download the app. I don't print the participant list. I don't even look at the participant list. That's also very controversial. I honestly just show up. I know I have my interviews. I know what I'm supposed to do at what time and all that it's scheduled, because I received an invite. Be here at 2 p.m. Okay, I'll be there. But everything else in between, I don't schedule. And I honestly just walk through the conference, and I just know that I will meet those that I need to meet. And you might think, oh, but you know everyone in Denmark. No, I don't. I've been away for 10 years. Most people don't even remember me, I guess. So I don't take for granted that anyone will stop me in my path and ask how I'm doing. But I'm just I trust that whoever I need to meet, I'll meet them.
Do you think right now you're so in such a, I would call it serendipity phase, because before you've done the hard work of still kind of developing the muscle of connecting? Because one thing is when you meet someone, also how do you show up in that conversation? And right now, after you've done it all, I would say, or have been through the cycle, you came back again to another cycle, which you're approaching different way, that serves more where you are in life.
Yeah, I think so. I'm turning 50 this year. And I think, not because that's a big deal, I'm not thinking about it. But I do think that that's a reflection point in life, your midlife, hopefully midlife, who knows. But I do think, I mean, I trust life. I think that's important. So I just know it will all work out. That is my basic belief.
Was it always that way?
Yes, actually, since I was even though that, honestly, the first 20 years of my life I don't really recall any good event happening really from my very early childhood until I was 20. I mean, there were a few highlights here and there, but it was one long depressing period of, everything I can think of. I don't wish anyone to go through that, honestly. But I always felt it will work out. It's almost like all the tears that I've been cried, they're put in a bottle and, stored somewhere. And then, so yeah, I do think I've always had that belief that it will all work out. And what does it mean by work out? I think the fact that I'm happy, That's kind of winning in the lottery, no?
Well, if you're sharing that 20 years were
Super
depressive and difficult in the upbringing, and then now you're mentioning that you're happy, and sometimes we tend to hear, "Oh, I'm not happy, and I'll never gonna be." Do you remember the pivotal moment in your life when that transition from this depressive mode into the hope and opportunity and possibilities in life came?
Well, I think, yes, there are several, but if I should highlight one was I was living in Norway. I was doing an internship at the embassy and didn't really know what to do after that internship, to be honest. And then I met a founder of a tech company, and he then ended up hiring me. I got my first job, blah, blah, blah. And I remember my first day at work, I was hired. I got a salary, a good one. This was like in 99. The salaries were insane. Very quickly, I made 100,000 a month, you know, and just a few years prior, I couldn't even get a job where I had to paint it's from one situation completely different from another.
Extreme.
Yeah, I went from living, I kid you not. I had a roommate. In fact, I was so broke, I couldn't afford my own apartment. So I lived, those beds where there's a little drawer where you put your pillow and your comforter. Yeah, I was sleeping in that one. She pulled it out and I slept down there every night. Okay? And then fast forward, within a few years, I was then living in a penthouse apartment and made 100,000 a month and could afford all sorts of things. Yeah. So I'm just saying that transition happened very quickly. And it's not because of the money, it's not because of all that, but it was a transition point. Because up until I was 20-something, early 20s, I was never really told that I had any qualifications that was useful. So I think, and that's when I realized that the tech industry, if you will, I mean, what is the tech industry? After all, it's everything is tech, everything is AI now. So I don't like to think it is as a contained industry. It's fluent, it's everywhere, fluid. Anyway, I just realized that the hospitality industry and the tech industry, I used to be in the hospitality industry because that's how you make money when you study. And I was a cleaning lady in the nights, and I served and was a dishwasher during the day while I was studying. So, and that's an industry you can just walk in from the streets and get a job, right? Hospitality. You can actually do the same with tech. You really can. Because the tech industry, even today, even the way I raised money for my tech startup, I could do everything from the comfort of my kitchen table through Zoom. So it's a very generous industry if you can work hard and if you don't mind studying and learning skills. Doesn't matter from where. It can be Coursera, free, or Y Combinator startup school, online, free, or podcast or whatever. If you can apply what you learn in practice, you can get a job. It's really that simple. Trust me. So there's not that many industries where that is possible. No? I cannot just take an online class and go and practice medicine.
Like that.
No, exactly. Or so there's many industries where that is not possible, but the tech industry is like that. So I felt it was my calling to be in the tech industry, and I'm just so proud of all my colleagues and all the things that they're doing, and I'm humbly just learning from the best ones in Silicon Valley.
The way you approach and the way you see the opportunities that are around you that you created by yourself and the universe conspired around, right?
Yeah.
It is beautiful. And that you see it, because sometimes we also have in tech seen such a big ego game, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear how you approach it with this learning opportunity, that we are here together to learn, to build, to create, to change. And yourself, you're working out with impact and change, right?
Yeah.
What brought you to becoming an entrepreneur and founding your own startups?
Well, in 2007, I was pregnant with my firstborn, and I was laid off. You're not supposed to do that, but it happened. It does happen more than you think.
I heard
it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get a job because who hires a woman that is pregnant, right? Anyway, so I became an entrepreneur because that you can do. And I started becoming a speaker, and then, you meet people, and then things happens, right?
Yeah.
And so that was my starting point, and I have been self-employed since. That was the beginning. So it was not by choice.
But Soulaima, tell me now, we
Tell me.
already started the conversation before the recording about mental health, about the struggles entrepreneurs are facing. And what I'm hearing right now, you were about to become a mother and you were giving a birth to another child, which is a company at the same time. How did you learn to navigate the, I would say, more not business challenges, but mental challenges that we, as people who are creating and building businesses, face with? Because one thing is you become a mother and then also business.
And I graduated my MBA 2 weeks before my delivery.
Jesus.
So that was really something.
Wow.
And I was the breadwinner. I'm not like
Okay.
married to a wealthy guy that can take care of me in that regard. So there was a lot of pressure. But I think pressure is a privilege. James Sinclair invented that term, so I will give all credit to him, but I really live by it. Because I could get a job. Might not have been a great job, but I could have gotten a job. I could, be sitting in the supermarket or whatever, So I chose to become an entrepreneur. So that's I didn't feel like I had a choice, but I did choose it eventually, right? Mental health, I would say that's not easy. Everything you do in life starts and ends in your head. And whatever you think creates feelings, and feelings creates thoughts. And then, so you have to observe yourself. You have to monitor yourself. And just like you take a shower, you have to have a good mental hygiene. You brush your teeth, you take a shower, you do all those things. You also have to do the same with your mind. Because your mind, it can be heaven or hell. Your head. And you decide what you put into it. It's everything from what you consume, news, music, people, thoughts, situations, and just have a monitor more closely what life and what you do with your time and your focus and your thoughts, what it does to you. So when you sit and worry, for instance, or when you're fearful, fear and worry steal every year so many lives. If you think about it, I really don't worry. I really don't worry. And it's not because, you don't have anything to worry about. Oh, trust me, I have a lot to worry about, but I refuse. Because worrying is not going to help me solve the problem. I mean, it's good to be prepared. So I prepare as I can, and then I leave it. Then and I'm not so obsessed about how to get somewhere. All the nitty-gritty from where I am, where I want to be, I'm not so concerned about those two. I'm more focused on where do I want to go. And that's the focus that I set. And then I'll figure out after how I get there. But I put my goal wherever that is or wherever that might be with, and then I figure out how to go there. I don't care about how getting there. That's not important. And I don't see life as a ladder. I see it as a dance, And so I'm more like going with the flow. I think energy is navigating me. I don't have to worry at all.
All right. So you're mentioning about we have to set our mind, right?
Yeah.
When did this term that you're using and sharing, mind gym, was born, and what does it stand for?
Mind gym? Well, I have a very good friend. He's a very great psychologist. We've done tons of things together online, like online classes and whatnot. Yeah. It's really just my excuse to learn from him, to be honest. So I do things with him. So I'm getting free therapy, basically. No, but anyway, so he's really a great advisor on metacognitive therapy. I have optimism and hope from birth, I think so. But anyways, he taught me really that you have to train your thoughts, just like you go to the gym. You have to train them to work for you and not against you. So that's where it comes from.
It's wonderful. And how can we do that?
Well, first and foremost, you have to stop worrying. That's very important.
Easy to say.
Easy to say, but you have to stop worrying immediately. Immediately. Like, listen, I'm a mom. I could worry about them all the time. They're teenagers. I don't. I have full faith in whatever they decide. I mean, I'm there if they need me, but I trust that they will make their mistakes and that they can judge situations. The same with my startup. I trust whatever we are doing, we're doing the best we can. And so it goes with my health and everything. I'm not worried. I will worry if there is a concrete, specific thing I have to worry about. Then I'll fix it, but I will not sit and worry about it. And then you have to trust and be hopeful and all that. I call my life, it consists of two things, duct tape and prayers, So my life is duct taped together, It's like hacked together, and I get through. And then I pray for whatever I need to get done, meaning manifestation and stuff. And then I'm with very successful people that are much smarter than I am. That's also very important. And they have done the things that I would like to achieve. So I can just by being around and surrounded by them, I rub the shoulders with what I would love to accomplish. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I have the faith that it can happen.
Yeah.
I just have to be open to it.
I wish to continue and have so many different layers. I would like to unpeel of your mind. I'm conscious of the time, and we're getting closer to the end. And I have a small tradition on the podcast.
Yes. Oh.
To leave the listeners with a question to ponder through the day. So what would be your question to someone who is here with us today listening to this conversation?
A piece of advice?
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to be deeply honest with yourself and really look at yourself. Try to remove your ego if you can. It's the hardest thing. But if you can remove your ego just for a second, meaning what do you think you should do? What would you like to be perceived as? What are everyone else expecting from you? Just leave that aside for a second and really ask yourself, what is for you your truth? What does it mean for you to live a fulfilling life? And really be honest, because it's sad to see so many people ending up living lives that is really not aligned with what they should be doing. And that is exactly why their lives are so hard. Because you continue to go in the wrong direction than you're supposed to. So if you keep seeing things not working out and you're not even happy and you're not thriving and you're not even good at it, maybe it's the wrong direction. But there's a fine line here, because when you are an amateur and you're just starting, the learning curve is very steep. I get that. But you know what I mean. There's excitement about being difficult, and then there's the soul crushing. You need to understand that there's a big difference between that. And I think, to be honest, I can almost feel in my blood if I'm going through something that is not good for me, is the wrong direction. It's almost like my blood turns sour. I can't explain it. It's a physical feeling I have. This is not supposed to be what I'm going. This is not what I should be doing. Yes. And then I need to listen, because I can almost feel in my system, this is toxic. I cannot explain it. But this is, so I'm in tune with that, and it's not even religious or anything. It's just a physical feeling that I get. And then also, if things don't work out, it's very good that it doesn't work out. I mean, I'm here because someone broke up with me or laid me off, or, if they had not done that, then I would have been living a very different life. So thank God they did that. So slammed doors is an invitation. I know it's cheesy, but it's really what I think is worth discussing. Yeah. And the future is going to be so much fun, so many new exciting jobs, the creativity front and center. Maybe don't listen to the news every day. Don't check your newspapers online all the time. Stay away from toxic people and bad news just once in a while. It's good for your mental health.
I couldn't say it better. Soulaima, thank you so much for finding time, joining Perception Paradox. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today, and see you next week. I'll leave links in the show notes how people can follow your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.